You can copy the best strategy out there, but if your inner state is operating from fear, that best strategy that you're following will just be another delaying tactic. So, tactic. If you're an online creator, online coach, online consultant, or a service provider, this video is for you. So if you're struggling with the best strategy but still not getting result, you're hustling and grinding, you're doing everything, you're doing all the work, following exact strategy, but you're still not getting the result. And the reason is, obviously, it's not the strategy. Okay? So we always think that copying a strategy from a successful online creator will get you success. This is why, even though you have the perfect strategy, and what happens is, if you are just copying and just doing it out of fear, and the biggest problem is if you don't even know that you're acting from fear, or you didn't know that you're operating from a certain desperation because you really want to make it work. I think is you need to have a strong why, right, in order to make it happen. So meaning that you're totally committed, right? But what happened is, operating from fear, operating from desperation, is actually, the effect is you don't become consistent. Your messaging doesn't give any impact. The strategy is just become a hustle and grind with no result. Like, it's just like beating your head in the wall. And the reason I'm saying this, because I've done it before. And I was, when I started this online business, I started promoting a digital marketing product. I was in 10K debt. I was hustling, grinding, right? The marketing messaging of that program was working 2 hours a day, and you get 900 a day income. Apparently, I was sleeping 2 hours a day, and I was following everything, the whole strategy, but nothing works. Even my electricity even got disconnected that time. That was about 2 years ago. But then I said, fuck it. You know, I know the program works because I see a lot of results coming in. So I think, what's going on? I just gave up that inner resistance. I just gave up this desperation. I said, fuck it. I calmed down, take some deep breath, because by that time my electricity was cut off. My wife was in a point to divorce me, so it was huge. I have 8 kids, right? So it was really bad. It was my darkest days, and I put that in the content as well when I used Facebook in that time. So I just, fuck it. And I've been in personal development for about 22 years. So I remember, you just need to, about awareness, I was in a self realization practice. So I implemented. So I just let go all of this desperation, and I just fuck it. I'll just do it. So the only thing that I did is I removed all the resistance. I removed the idea of making a sale. I removed the idea of getting more views. I removed the idea of getting more connection with people, and I just execute out of awareness. I follow the program, I follow the strategy, but out of awareness. I follow the hooks. I follow the messaging of sharing my experience, and then a week after, in 5 days time, a week after, I made 5 sales in a row. Also, 3 sales in a row in 5 weeks time. And then, and I was surprised, but I just keep on going, and then that's how I reached my first 10K. I think about 4 to 5 months at that time, and then paid over all my bills. And the reason I'm saying this is because the only change that I did is the shifting of the state. I was not operating from fear. I was not operating from an identity, right? As a broke person, I just shifted to awareness. Meaning, I just made a decision, and I took action from that. I didn't react from the result. I didn't respond through an identity as a broke person or as a digital marketer who wants to hustle, who wants to make it happen, because it still operates from desperation. But I'm not aware of it, right? But then when I shift back to awareness, that's when I made a decision, and took action from a decision. So what happens is, what is part of the program that I joined with is collecting data, collecting information, and from that information, you just refine it. And since I was operating from awareness, I was operating from, not from a situation, not from a emotion, not from an identity. I operated from awareness, even though I don't didn't felt good, even though there was panic. I just look into it. I didn't fall into that. I didn't become the fear. I didn't become the emotion. I didn't become the thought that's been coming in my head. I just stay aware and then look on the data, collecting information. And I just refine it from there. And that's how people get, that's how I get the results, because operating from awareness. So this is what we do inside our community. It's called Klariti. So we do a clarity shifting method, right? So what we do is, there are three types of operating system. So this is why you use same strategy, but there's three types of people. You got the reactor mode. Reactor is the one who reacts from emotion. If you react from emotion, you don't have even time to think, right? So you just react and you become that emotion, and your decisions making, your action, your behavior relies from the emotion that you have. So if you're feeling fucked up, then definitely you will have a fucked up result. So you just, your fear, which you don't have control, because sometimes you just wake up fucked up. Or what happened with Reactor, if there's a certain scenario, a situation, like you don't get leads, you don't get views, and you want to create a content, but you think there's always doubt, there's always fear, so you just keep on delaying it or forcing yourself. So that's fear-based taking action, fear-based of behavior. And that's the reactor. They react from a situation. You don't even think. There is no decision. You cannot even decide what is best. You just react out of a situation. So it's just like a mosquito landed in your balls, and then you started smacking it, and then you scream, "Fuck, what's going on?" Right? So you get more frustrated, you get more resistance, you get more pressure, and then you get the responder. Responder is the one who doesn't is better than reacting, but you respond from a situation based on your self-image, based on your identity. Okay, so the problem is, you have this old identity in the subconscious mind, and this is operating out of your self-image. And most of us are not aware of what self-image we have. We have this personality, and we respond based on our personality. You got people who are short-tempered, you have people who are introverts. So there's a certain personality, and you respond from that on a situation. So if you use the strategy based on a personality, so the strategy will not work, because your personality will still dictate how you will execute the strategy. So an example for an identity based or responder is, a lot of people, if they just try to create a new self image that contradicts the reality. And what happens, for example, you think you want to be the best version of yourself, and you think and act like that. And even though you think and act like that, but you're still broke, you're still struggling, that will not work. You will create more doubt in your subconscious level, and that will confirm that there is misalignment on the identity that you want to act from, but it's contradicting reality. It will create more doubt, it will create more pressure, but in the subconscious level. So it's just like you're wearing a Superman costume and then jump off the roof thinking that you can fly. It's unrealistic, right? So that is the problem with identity-based responding through a self-image, through an identity. So identity shifting without being realistic is gonna actually, it's gonna backfire even more worse. So the third state is what we call the creator mode. Creator mode is the one who is operating from awareness. It doesn't react from a situation, from an emotion. It doesn't respond from a self-image. It simply decides and take action from that. no matter how you feel, no matter what thoughts is popping up, no matter what identity or things that's been self-image or personality, you act from awareness. You make a decision. You you have an online business and you decide you want to make it 10K a month, for example, and then what you do is you are aware of that. You just make a decision and take action intentionally from that. You don't respond or react from a situation. You just intentionally take action based on the data that you collect. So you're not responding or reacting. You make a decision. You create your steps. You follow the strategy out of awareness, and what you do is you collect data. You're not being influenced by your emotion or by your thoughts. There is no failing. It's not working in a creator mode. And a creator mode is everything about you collect data. If this one is not working, it's because that when you refine it, maybe your messaging, maybe the way how you talk, maybe the wrong person you're talking to, maybe, so all of that data is being collected since because you are operating out of awareness, and then you see things with clarity. You don't see it in the lens of fear. You don't see it in the lens of whatever thoughts been popping in your head, right? So operating from creator mode out of awareness gives you more clarity. If you are interested, so to know more about this, to dive deeper into this, I have a free community. It's called Klariti. Go to the description. There's a masterclass about these three operating system, which is the responder, the reactor, and the creator mode. And you can also book a call with me, have a talk. Let's have a diagnostic call, see where you are, if you want to work with me, and let's go transform from reactor to a creator. And subscribe if you want more of this video. I need to leave right now, so I'm a little bit in a rush. So I'll see you in the next video. All right, peace.